Welcome back, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how hackers can gain full control over your system by just using an image. The technique is called Trojan. Basically, Trojan is when a hacker creates a malicious code and hide this malicious code inside a legitimate program. The program could be PDF file, image, or software. So they are going to hide this malicious code inside a legitimate program to trick their victim into clicking on this malicious program. And if their victim clicks on this malicious program, this is going to give the hacker full control over your system. I want you to look at this example over here. Assuming this is the hacker over here, and the hacker creates a malicious code, maybe using Python or other programming language. So instead of them to compile this malicious code and send this to their victim, they are first going to hide this malicious code inside a legitimate program like PDF, image, or software. So after hiding this malicious code inside a legitimate program, then they are going to send it to their victim to trick their victim onto running this malicious file or software they created. So immediately their victim clicks on this malicious program. So the hacker will be able to gain full control over their victim system and they will be able to run any command. And the hacker will be able to gain full control over your system. They will be able to run any command. They can have access to your camera and record you live. They can download all your files from your system. They can upload malicious files to your system. They can even delete all the files in your system and much more. With that being said, let's dive into the video. So the tool we're going to be using is Empire. Empire is a post-exploitation tool that allows us to create a stager or a backdoor that is going to give us full control over our target system. So to install Empire is very simple. You just come down here, just run this command on your system. So I'm just going to copy this command over here. So I'm going to come to my 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜 machine. So I'll just paste the command here. So because I already have it downloaded, I'm going to quit the operation. So just come back to their page, to their GitHub. So immediately you run this downloading command. Then you can power up your Empire by just using /ps empire server. So that's the command I'm going to run because I already have it installed in my 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜 machine. So let me paste the command here. Input my 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜 password. As you can see, Empower is powering up. So I'm going to wait for it for a second. Now it has finished. So I'm just going to split my terminal and then run star. So 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜 is the graphical interface for Empire. So it's going to allow us to use Empire in a graphical user interface. So I'm going to hit enter. So input. Now it automatically redirects us to the login page of 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜. Because I already have an account, so the default username and password for Empire is Empire admin and default password is password 123. So I'm just going to submit and log in to my 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜. So as you can see, this is the dashboard of the 𝐜𝐲𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜. So these are what you're going to be using. So you just come here, click on this listener to our. So this listener is the one that's going to be responsible for listening for any incoming connection from our victim system. So I'm just going to create a listener. So I'm going to pick HTTP. As you can see, it automatically grab my password. It automatically grab my system IP address. So the next thing is to set the port. So I'm going to set it to port 443. So I'm going to leave everything here as default and click on submit. Now that we've created the listener, let's verify it. So as you can see here, we already have a listener with my IP address on port 443. The next thing now is to create a stager. The stager is like a backdoor. The stager is the one that we're going to send to our target. Immediately our target run this stager, The stager is going to connect back to our listener, whereby it will be able to listen for any incoming connection and be able to control our victim system remotely. So let's create the stager. So I'm going to click on these stagers and create stager. So as you know, our target system is Windows. So I'm going to find the one for Windows. So we're going to be using this Windows underscore launcher underscore bat. I'm going to name it RATS. We've already set up a listener at the listener tab over here. So I'm just going to click here and pick the listener. Now for the output of our file, we can name it whatever we want. I'm just going to name my own image.bat. Before we dive deeper, kindly show me some love by hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel. This will encourage me to be creating more educational, ethical hacking and cybersecurity videos like this. So let's move on. So ensure that you use this BAT extension at the back of it. And for this, I'm going to power off this because this stands for whereby this delete function is responsible for deleting the batch file immediately our target clicks on it. So I don't want that. So for the bypasses over here, these are the available bypasses you can use in Empire. So this manifestation is for bypassing PowerShell security controls. This is for bypassing events for Windows. So this helps us to bypass our event being logged by Windows and so on. So I'm going to leave everything as default. So we've set the type of our stager, we've set up the listener, and we've set up the output of our file. The next thing is to submit this. As you can see, stager created. The next thing is to download our stager. So I'm going to hit the download button. So as you can see here, I already have it downloaded. So we've created the stager, we've created the listener. So let's come back to our terminal over here. So I'm just going to clear this. So let's navigate to our download folder. ls. As you can see now that we now have our stager, which is the batch file. So which is image.bat, the same thing with what we set in the stager. The next thing now is to go to the stage of making this. The next thing now is to go to the stage of hiding this image.bat into a legitimate file so that we'll be able to trick our user onto clicking on this. To do that, I'm just going to power on my Apache server. So the next thing now is I'm going to move this badge to my Apache server. This Apache server is like a Google Drive whereby I will carry this image.bat to the Apache server and be able to download it so that I can customize it very well on my Windows machine. So to do that, I'm going to use cp, which is for copy. So I'm going to use this followed by /downloads followed by the name of our batch file, which is image.bat. So we want to copy this image.bat to /var/www/html. So I'm going to use sudo here so that everything is going to work perfectly. So let's hit enter. I'm going to import my Linux password. As you can see, everything has been moved to my Apache server successfully. As I've said earlier, this Apache server is going to allow us to download this image.bat file to our Windows machine. So let me power on the Apache server by using sudo apache 2 start. We are going to use sudo service apache 2 start. So let's hit enter. Everything works perfectly. So to access our Apache server, we are going to use if config. So I'm going to copy my IP address, which is 10.17.161.30. So I'm going to come back to my Windows machine, followed by the name of our batch file, which is image.bat. So I'm going to hit enter to download it. As you can see, it has been downloaded successfully. I'm firstly going to create a folder called rat. So let's create the folder rat. So I'll store this BMW image and this image.bat file to this bat folder. So as you can see that the two files are now in the folder called rat. So I move it here so that our work will be well organized. So this is the image we want to use to trick our user, which is this BMW image. So let's view it here. As you can see, it looks beautiful. So, and this is the batch file we created. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to click on this, right click on it. So I'm going to open it with Notepad. So as you can see, we've successfully opened it with Notepad. This is what's inside our image.bat file. So what we're going to do now is to use start followed by /b followed by %sign followed by this sign and dp0 followed by the name of the file we want to use to disguise our malicious code, which is the BMW. So bmw.jpg, as you can see it over here. So this is the file, which is BMW, and the extension is jpg. So that's the file we're going to be using to disguise this our image.batch malicious file. So what we have to do now is to come here and click on save. So we've successfully edit our image.bat file. So I can just cancel it. So another thing we're going to be doing here is that we are going to click on this image.bat file. We are going to right click on it, comes to property, so we can change the icon. So we are going to come here. So let me look for it. Advanced settings. So to make our batch file looks more hyper-realistic, we can just come to this show more options. We can just create shortcut of this image.bat. So we can just call it BMW. So after we've called it BMW, you can click on it, comes to properties, change icon. Okay, so you can just look for image icon over here. So there is an image icon over here. Let me look for it. So let's go for this one. Okay, apply and click OK. As you can see, we've successfully changed the image icon. We've successfully changed the icon of our image bat file. So to make it realistic and our target or our victim will be curious to even click it than just sending this one that looks suspicious to our victim. Now that we've successfully customized our stager to make it look realistic, the next thing now is to deliver our payload or our stager. So there are multiple ways you can use to deliver the stager or the backdoor. So you can deliver it through email by just sending your friend email that, "Hey Joe, I've been wondering what to use to surprise you all these days, but now I've gotten you these two beautiful cars. You can check it out. If you want it, then I can help you to ship it inside the country." And other social engineering techniques you can use your victim. So you can simply attach this malicious code to the email or send it to your victim via Google Drive or Drop. So assuming I'm the target, and when I click on this malicious file, before I click on it, so let me come to my 𝐜𝐲𝐚𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐞𝐜. So let me log in. So as you can see here that our listener is listening for any incoming connection and successfully create the stager also. So the next thing now we need to do is to deliver this stager to our victim. So let me double click on this stager over here. As you can see, if I double click this stager, it opens the BMW image. So let's go back to our 𝐜𝐸𝐽𝐶 machine. So let me click on this agent. So let's wait for it for some time to connect to our 𝐜𝐸𝐽𝐶 machine. Now, as you can see, our agent have successfully received the connection from our Windows machine with our target machine over here. Our target machine is desktop. So the language of our stager is PowerShell. The same thing with what you see earlier when we are creating it. So the internal IP address of our victim machine is 192.168.78.1. So let's click on it to interact with our target system. is the interface we can use to interact with our target system. As you can see, this is the file browser. We can browse all the files on our target system. This view contains all the details about our victim machine. So this is the external IP address of our victim machine. This is the name of our victim machine. So the listener is running on HTTP, the same thing with what we said earlier. So let's come to this module over here. This module contains all the commands you can run on your target system. So let me use message command to prompt our victim some message on their Windows machine. So let me hit enter. So I'm going to input the message I want to show my victim over here, which is you've been hacked by 𝐜𝐻𝐿_security. As you can see, it automatically prompts you that you've been hacked by 𝐜𝐻𝐿_security. So that's how our victim is going to see it. You see this message because I'm using the Windows machine to record this video. So this is how our victim is going to see the message on their system immediately you run the module. And a lot of modules we can run on this empire over here. As you can see, there's modules we can run, including grabbing our user's password. As you can see, we can shut down their system. We can use it to dump all our victim password and so on. So this is basically how hackers can use ordinary image to gain full control over your system. Don't forget, guys, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. This is going to encourage me to be creating more educational videos on ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So now, to prevent yourself from such attack like this, ensure that all your antivirus, anti-malware, your Windows Defender are active and ready to block any malicious activity. And also, when you want to click on any link, ensure that, and also don't just run any attachment on your system. When someone sends you an attachment, they can carry it to sandbox websites like VirusTotal, IB Analysis to check maybe this file they sent to you is a malicious file or not, and ensure that all the services you are running on your system is up to date, including your antivirus, as I've said earlier. So be aware of any image or any attachment you want to click. That's it, guys, and I will see you in the next video.